Ladies and gentlemen, why have I brought a golf club on stage? I hope that you've been in the room next door and you've visited all the wonderful exhibitors who, of course, make a conference like this possible. Go in there afterwards and support them and have a go on the golf simulator, because there's a huge prize. You get to visit Northern Ireland and you get to play some of the best golf clubs and stay in one of the best hotels in the world there. And there also is a wonderful cash prize. So make sure you get in there. Liz is already on the leaderboard. Matt Schlapp, I need to get him in there to have a go. Jacob Rees-Mogg is going to put on his +4s to come out and have a go. So we really are looking forward to that. My friends, there comes a moment, there comes a generation, and there comes a nation when we must look into the mirror and ask ourselves a fundamental question. Who are we? Not what the newspapers say we are, not who the experts in the think tanks and the focus groups tell us we ought to become, not who the bureaucrats and the elites in distant offices imagine us to be, but who we truly are. Because a people who forget themselves become strangers in their own land. And a nation that forgets its story will soon lose out on its future and be without roots and without heritage. Britain does not merely need another election. Britain does not merely need another budget. Britain does not need another slogan. Britain needs a reset. Not a reset of our history, but a reset of our confidence, a reset of our courage, and a reset in belief in ourselves. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I visited an old harbour in a place called Ballintoy, right up in the top right-hand corner of County Antrim in Northern Ireland. An elderly fisherman showed me around his fishing vessel, which was resting in dry dock. And he said to me something that I have never forgotten. He said this: "Ian, people think boats sink because of storms. No. Boats sink because people stop repairing the small cracks while they are still in harbour." Think about that. The storm wasn't the enemy. Indeed, the boat was built for the storm. Neglect was. Decay was. Complacency was. And that, my friends, struck me of what has happened to Britain today. Britain is not defeated. Britain is not destroyed. But Britain has been neglected, and our British identity has been neglected. Cracks have been left unattended, and now the water is coming in. Look around. A nation that once built the greatest navy in the world can't raise a navy, but now struggles to even build railways. A nation that invented the Industrial Revolution now struggles to approve planning applications. A nation that once led the free world too often wants us to apologize for its very existence. What happened? Did Britain lose its intelligence? No. Did Britain suddenly lose its talent? No. Did Britain suddenly lose its people? No. Britain lost something far more precious than that. Confidence. Confidence to govern. Confidence to produce. Confidence to defend. Confidence to lead. Confidence to say, this is our country. These are our values. This is our future. Every civilization is built on certain foundations: faith, reason, family, freedom. Remove them, and the building shakes. Remove two of them, the building cracks. Remove all of those foundations, and the building falls. And for too long, we have allowed those foundations to be chipped away. As we've heard today, it's not in one great dramatic moment, but brick by brick, year by year, excuse after excuse, because today we are told that faith, reason, family, freedom are not what's important. We are told that feelings are what matters. Now, a very, very long time ago in Sunday school, I learned a song which went like this: "Will your anchor hold in the storms of life?" Well, let me tell you, emotions and feelings never hold through storms. They change. Nice feelings don't bind families together. Feelings never replace logic or reasoning. And feelings displace freedom. We have been told that national pride is actually embarrassing. We have been told that borders no longer really matter. And we've been told that industry belongs somewhere else. We've been told that history should be apologized for rather than embraced and celebrated. And we were told that common sense has become controversial. Well, look where these and those feelings have taken us. Slower growth, higher taxes, broken trust, weaker communities, more loneliness, more division, less hope. But hear me tonight, conference. Britain is not finished. Britain is not broken and is not beyond repair. Britain is not destined to be eternally in decline. The story of Britain, of these islands and this island's people of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, has never been one of surrender. It has always been a story of renewal. When Europe trembled under tyranny, Britain stood. When freedom was threatened, Britain stood. When democracy needed defenders, it was Britain that stood. And if previous generations could rebuild after world wars, surely people, this generation, you and I, can rebuild after political failure. The reset that I'm talking about begins with truth. Truth about our economy. You cannot borrow forever hundreds of millions of pounds to pay the interest from the previous last debt that you brought from the bank. That leads to bankruptcy. We need truth about energy. You can't save this planet by stopping production in the West in the hope that the East will follow and do likewise. You cannot power a modern nation on wishful thinking. We need truth about security. A country that cannot control its borders cannot fully control its destiny. And we need truth about culture. You cannot preserve liberty if you no longer know what is worth preserving. Now, some will call these ideas old-fashioned, quaint. They'll even say some of those things even are dangerous. Well, if loving your country is quaint and old-fashioned and dangerous, I'm going to be wonderfully dangerous and old-fashioned with you tonight. If believing in family is old-fashioned, let me tell you, I'm going to be proudly old-fashioned. If believing in freedom is old-fashioned, then history stands accused, because these ideas are not relics. These are the reasons why free nations exist. Our opponents always promise a transformation via a progressive agenda. Yet everything they touch becomes larger government, smaller ambition, greater dependency and welfare. They say government knows best. We say the British people know best. They trust bureaucracy. We trust enterprise. They trust regulation. We trust innovation. They trust central planning. We trust free citizens. That is the difference. And let us never understand or never underestimate the ordinary people of this country. Britain has never been carried by elites. It was carried by shopkeepers, by miners, by farmers, by engineers, by teachers, by soldiers, by nurses, by doctors, by entrepreneurs, by mothers and fathers who worked hard, pay their taxes, obey the law, and simply want their children to have a better future. Those people, you and me, built this country. Those people deserve a government worthy of them. The reset we seek, ladies and gentlemen, is not revenge. It is a restoration of responsibility, of opportunity, of law and order, of aspiration, of Britain and its real Christian values. Not because Britain is perfect, no nation ever is, but because Britain remains one of history's greatest experiments in ordered liberty. A nation where freedom and responsibility has walked hand in hand for a generation, where enterprise and compassion strengthened one another, where Isambard Kingdom Brunel could coexist with Dr. Bernardo, where patriotism never meant hatred of others. It meant love your own. It meant all equal under the law, all equally subject to the law. My friends, history will not remember those who have managed decline. History remembers those who change direction. Churchill changed direction, that's why he's remembered. Thatcher changed direction, that's why she's remembered. The great reformers of Knox in Scotland, of Latimer and Ridley in England, of every age and every generation, those people who changed direction, they are remembered because they refused to accept that decline was inevitable, and neither should we. So tonight, be remembered. Tonight, let's not have this remembered as just another political gathering, another conference, but as a moment people stop whispering about what they believe. Instead of the slouch in our posture, our shoulders, let's bring them back. Our chests puffed out and our chins raised high. Because we believe that we can start believing in Britain again. Believing Britain can grow again. Believing Britain can lead again. Believing Britain can inspire people again. Believing Britain can become once more a beacon of liberty and freedom around the world. For our children deserve more than managed decline. They deserve a nation that dreams again. They deserve streets that are safe, schools that teach, borders that function, communities that endure, a government that trusts its own people. So I leave you with this. Every generation receives two gifts, a heritage and a choice. The heritage is given. The choice, ladies and gentlemen, is ours. Will we leave Britain weaker or stronger, smaller or greater, fearful or confident, divided or united? That decision belongs not to history, it belongs to us. So let us stand, let us serve, let us build and let us believe, and let us begin the great British reset. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Thank you.